Hello, this is Bill Steffen. Thanks for joining me today. And we have a little bit of an announcement coming up about these videos that we do coming up at the very end of the show. So hope you'll stay tuned for that. Today, February 21st already. We're about a month away from the equinox. You can watch the sun drifting farther and farther to the north, and the day's getting longer now. All right, it's Friday, and on Friday, it was Friday yesterday, and on Friday, the 3 to 4 week forecast comes out from the Climate Prediction Center. And they are forecasting spring across much of the country. Warmer than average temperatures are expected, but colder than average up in Alaska. And the battle will come as that cold air tries to make it down here to the lower 48 states and see if that can give us a period of cold weather within a general period of milder weather here as we head into the month of March and beyond. And in terms of precipitation, we are in the above average category. When we get warm and wet conditions here during March, April, and May, I kind of scratch my head a little bit and wonder about where the severe weather is going to be. Severe weather season kind of starts in the southern United States in late winter and works its way off to the north a little bit, and then out toward the plain states. The big months for tornadoes out in Oklahoma would be from about mid-April through about the end of May, especially in those canyons between Amarillo and Lubbock up to around the Oklahoma City area. That area can really get some big storms during the spring season. But we'll take a look at some other weather data here and bring you back to reality. Season snowfall. We've had a lot of it so far, most everybody with above average snowfall, even though we haven't had much here over the past couple of weeks or so. But Hart and Muskegon about to go over into the 100-inch club for the winter. Scottville right behind. Fremont may make it yet. You could still get 25 inches of snow from this point in Fremont. Holland was 73.8. It's interesting because South Bend has had over 80 inches and Niles has had over 80 inches. So we've had that lake effect snow coming into the Oceana-Muskegon area, and then down in the southwest corner of the lake, southeast corner of the lake, down toward Berrien and St. Joseph County in Indiana. But in the middle, a little bit less snow in places like Saugatuck and Holland, relatively speaking. Grand Rapids, we're at 69, may go over 70 here this weekend. Hastings, away from the lake, 43.6, and you get far enough away toward Lansing, and you can only look at the data and suggest that there has been just several inches of lake effect snow in Lansing. Most of that with the northwest wind has passed off to the south of Lansing. Okay, let's take a look right now at high temperatures on Friday. And by the way, look at the picture. Do you see anything different in that picture from the picture that we've been showing you up there? That is Main Street on Mackinac Island, the way it looked Friday evening. And the difference is the Christmas tree is missing. It's gone, just totally disappeared in the course of one day. It was right out there in the middle of the road. And why not the middle of the road? Because there just isn't much traffic there. People get around on snowmobiles. We've seen people walking their dogs. And I saw one cart come by, a horse-drawn cart, which is kind of neat. But the Christmas tree is now gone. This is a certain sign that winter will be abating soon up there on Mackinac Island. But look at the temperatures. Holland Beach was the warm spot at 51. And all these temperatures, the highs for the day, occurred at around midnight to 3 in the morning. And then temperatures actually went down a little bit and held that way during the week. 47 in Grand Rapids, mid-afternoon, we were generally in the mid-30s here. And it never did get warm from Cadillac and Big Rapids off to the north, while we saw temperatures in the 60s here from Grand Rapids off to the south. Never got out of the 30s from Cadillac up to Gaylord in that area. Okay, taking a look at let's take a look at 66-hour snowfall. And there's a big East Coast storm a brewing. I mean, this is going to be near blizzard conditions. They have winter storm watches up for Baltimore, Washington, and I don't know if it's Washington, D.C. or not, but Baltimore anyway. Washington, D.C. will get some snow from this system. New York City could see a significant, I think could see 6 to 12 inches of snow in New York City, Central Park. Boston's going to really get dumped on. I'd be going for a foot of snow in Boston if I was a meteorologist there. And it will be windy, too. I would imagine out on Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, they're going to get some gusts between 50 and 60 miles an hour. They build for that because they get an occasional hurricane up that far north, but this is going to be a big storm. It misses us, with the exception of the fact that the circulation around it is counterclockwise, which means we're going to have more of a north wind here, and a northwest wind anyway. And what that's going to do is it's going to drag down cold air out of Canada and keep our temperatures on the cool side here this week. Also out west, look at the snow in the Cascade Mountains all the way along there. They're going to have a hard time getting through to Seattle if you're on Interstate 90 out there. That activity getting down into the mountains of Northern California around Mount Shasta, and the rain at the lower elevations should be significant. All right, let's zoom into Michigan here and show you that we have some significant snow on the way for the area west of Marquette. Once again, there's already 4 places in the UP that have had over 200 inches of snow for the winter. And considering they can get snow well into April, it's not impossible. Somebody up there could come close to 300 inches of snow for the winter. Kearsarge, I got a note here. Kearsarge picked up about 16 inches of snow from the last storm, and a lot of the roads up there snow covered and slippery. You can also see a little area of more significant snow in Berrien County down in northern Indiana, and there could be 3 to 6 inches there, and also up in the Leelanau-Benzie County area over to around Cadillac. Some places there could pick up several inches of new snow over the weekend and into early next week. Not a big storm by any means, but enough to keep the roads a little bit on the slick side. All right, let's take a look right now at snowfall for Grand Rapids. We're inland from the lake. Winds will be west-northwest, so the more significant snow will be down toward Berrien County. But we're still going to probably pick up an inch on the grassy areas. On the high end, that would be 3 inches. On the low end, just a trace, but an inch looks pretty likely. Road crews ought to be able to handle that pretty well, but it could produce some slippery spots, especially on the sidewalks, the parking lots, and the lesser traveled roads. Okay, let's see what's next. Headlines. There'll be a chance for snow showers here over the weekend. Most of them will be fairly light, but a good weekend to get out and enjoy winter sports. If you want to hit the ski resort one more time, or maybe head over to the ice rink in Holland or Rosa Parks Circle here in Grand Rapids. Looking pretty good. Cool weather expected this weekend. Not much in the way of melting. And that will take the main roads to be generally okay. Not quite as windy. You know, we have wind gusts as high as 49 miles an hour in Grand Rapids. Fastest gust I saw was 54 miles an hour on the beach at Saugatuck. So it was a windy Friday here nonetheless, but things should quiet down here. It will still be a bit on the breezy side, but not near as windy as it has been here the past 36 hours or so. Okay, 66-hour rainfall, and this is precipitation, so it's rain plus melted snow. A little bit of snow coming out into Kansas there. You can see the rain along the Pacific Northwest coast and a bunch of it. And you can see the precipitation, much of which will be in the form of snow. This is going to be a pretty significant storm for Baltimore, the Delaware coast, the New Jersey coast up into New England, and of course some snow back into the Great Lakes area as well. Stays dry in Oklahoma and Texas where they could use some rain. Okay, let's take a look at severe weather for this Saturday. This is just a marginal risk, which is level 1, and pretty much starts at the Mississippi-Alabama border. They just have a pretty sharp line there. But at places like Dothan, Alabama, Pensacola, Valdosta, Georgia, there's could be an isolated strong wind gust with some of the thunderstorms that'll be developing along the cold front. And that cold front, by the way, is going to get all the way down into Florida, where they're going to be seeing temperatures in the mid-30s in Tampa and Orlando again here Tuesday morning. That's going to be the coldest morning down there. I know we have a couple of people that have watched the videos here from down in Florida. Grab the jacket for Tuesday morning because it will be kind of chilly, but it should turn out to be a nice day. Sunshine warms things up pretty quickly down there when they get Arctic air masses down here. It doesn't stay cold terribly long. Okay, sunrise and sunset time for Grand Rapids, 7:30 now on the sunrise. On the sunset, 6:21, so we're gaining about 3 minutes of daylight per day. We're up to 10 hours and 51 minutes. We gained one on the average low. We're now at 35 and 21 on the average high and low. And by the end of the month, that high will be up to 37. Record high temperature for today, 66, 1930. And the record low, -8 in 1968. There's a picture of the South Haven Pier. And as you can see, the ice kind of worn away a little bit there, but a lot of open water out in the channel now. And that's true with a number of the different channels. I checked a number of webcams, and it looks like a lot of the ice is kind of breaking up in the channels. Still quite a bit of ice along the shoreline, though, as you can see there on the right side of the picture. All right, I showed you this picture yesterday, and I thought it was so cool that I was going to show it again today. That is the South Haven Channel. That was Thursday evening, and there's a guy out there in a canoe. First one of the year, I see, first boat of the year. Last year, we had somebody coming in a rowboat through the ice, and they were fishing, believe it or not. But this year, we get the guy in the kayak, or guy in the canoe. And as you can see, that's out by the edge of the ice. There's more ice out there a little farther out. Water temperature only 32, so don't fall in. The winds will be out of the west at 15 to 20 knots. Waves should be as high as 4 to 6 feet here during the afternoon. All right, up next we have today's forecast. Going for a high of 34, just 2 degrees above freezing, 28 here during the morning. There'll be an occasional period of snow flurries or light snow. I don't think we'll see anything real heavy here. Not impossible. Somebody could pick up an inch on the grassy areas. And of course, the main areas to see that would be Berrien County down into northern Indiana, and also up in Benzie and Leelanau counties. Humidity does drop to 65% in the afternoon. Winds inland out of the west 10 to 20 miles an hour. All right, some high temperatures across the state of Michigan. This is what it looks like today. Everybody pretty much the same. I didn't count how many 35s there are in that map, but there's quite a few of them. It stays below freezing all day up around Gaylord and Alpena. So if you're traveling up there, there would be a chance for an isolated icy spot. Detroit gets 41, so they're the warm spot on the map. And we head to the UP, where temperatures are going to be a little colder. Skiing should be improving quite a bit up there, and they have plenty of snow on the ground. I mentioned yesterday, Sault Ste. Marie was at 2.5 feet of snow on the ground, and Marquette was over 3 feet. They were at 37 inches, and they're going to get more snow. But Ironwood there at 24 for a high, Marquette 29, Sault Ste. Marie 29. And taking a look at Sunday's forecast, a couple degrees cooler, 32 Chicago, 33 for Holland and Grand Rapids, 31 Houghton Lake, 34 over there in Detroit. So a couple of cool days coming up. Could be a break or two in the clouds, but generally overcast here for most of Saturday and on Sunday. And the outlook here for the UP calls for temperatures to be in the low to mid 20s, slightly warmer in the eastern part of the UP than it will be in the western part. There's been a fair amount of ice west of Ironwood, so they're not getting a whole lot of help from the lake in terms of warming up the air that's been coming down out of Canada. All right, the long-range outlook for us out to 5 days, the chance for a little light snow today, a little bit better chance for some snow showers, maybe a dusting to an inch of snow here Sunday. A few flurries on Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday, probably a good chance for some snow showers there. And we may get back up into the mid-30s here on Wednesday. No big storms for us or anything like that. The big one's going to be on the East Coast. And it looks like we'll be seeing just some lighter snow with just an occasional slick spot to worry about here over the next week or so. Okay, a look at high temperatures across the United States. Cold air hasn't gotten down to the southeast yet, where it should be in the 80s from southern Georgia down into Florida. 84, the high temperature in Tampa. Boy, break out the copper tone, huh? Another day with temperatures in the 80s in South Florida, and warmed up a little bit out west. If you're watching the golf tournament on the Golf Channel, NBC owns that. They were pretty chilly there the past couple of days. They should be seeing improving conditions out there. And temperatures cool in New England, where they'll be getting some snow, especially along the coastline. Another day with some very cold temperatures from northwest Minnesota into northeast Montana. And we'll take a look at the 8 to 14 day outlook. This is February 28th through March 6th, generally the first week of March. And it keeps the cold air in Canada and Alaska. Look at Alaska, the entire state, and that's a big state, is really assured of some cold weather, while the lower 48 states here pretty much assured of some warm weather. And in terms of precipitation, a lot of green over Michigan, indicating again above average precipitation expected. They could use some rain, and like I said, in Oklahoma and Texas. New England will have a chance to shovel out from their snowstorm here over this weekend. All right, we got a couple extra things here for you here today, and this is kind of interesting. If you were to just show me that picture and not tell me what it was, could you guess that? It almost looks like with the two circles there, a Venn diagram, but that is an overhead picture, probably taken by helicopter, maybe a drone. I don't know. There, you got to be pretty careful where you fly around that area, but that is the Washington Monument. I have never been to the top of the Washington Monument. I have been walking around outside. There's an elevator and there's stairs. At least there was when I was there. And the last time I was walking around there was 8th grade, a long time ago. But the Washington Monument was dedicated February 21st in 1885. And we got some pictures to share with you. This is a squirrel that is balanced on its back feet, it looks like. They are amazing creatures, and I have appreciated the pictures that we've gotten of squirrels from a number of the people here. This one from Bernie. You can see the squirrel outside there, and it looks like blue sky behind there, kind of neat. They're pretty amazing creatures. We have many of them that live right around our house here. We put some bird seed out, and the squirrels eat more bird seed than the birds do. But it's been fun to watch them. Amazing creatures, very docile. You never hear of anybody getting attacked by a squirrel or anything like that. All right, next picture from Tom Adams. I think this was over by Huff School, if I'm not mistaken. Look closely, and you'll see a couple of ducks. The female over on the right side, brown color, blending right into the dormant weeds there, and the male that's kind of swimming around there. I don't know what day or time this was taken. Might be recent, because there is open water out there right now. And for the waterfowl that are there, there's just been a lot of food around here, so they've been able to stick around. Not robins. I told you about the robins that landed in my backyard. So very, very interesting how these creatures manage to survive. Not only just survive, but to thrive during the winter season here. They stick around. All right. Thanks, Tom. Nice picture. And we have from John Doherty. This is kind of interesting. Look at the different clouds there. That almost looks like a shelf cloud, which would be associated with convection, but there wouldn't be anything like that going on right now. But pretty interesting to see a picture like that. That looks like it's sunset, the sun shining through the high and mid-level clouds there, and that looks like a lower cloud in the foreground here. But an interesting picture. Thank you, John. And one more I think we have for everybody. This is a look at some of the streaks of high clouds that are going on by, probably cirrus, I would guess. But I'd like to be there. It almost looks like there's also one contrail over on the left there. It almost looks like it's moving from bottom to top, maybe from west to east. And it would be flying pretty high, maybe 36,000 feet. But very interesting to see the ripples there. I mentioned before that air is a fluid, just kind of like the water, and so it behaves like water. And as you get ripples in water, you get ripples in the air, and that can produce clouds like that. Mountains can induce a pattern like that as well. You sometimes see that over the Appalachian Mountains in Pennsylvania. So thanks, John. I appreciate it. We have an announcement to pass along to you. We're going to take a little bit of a hiatus here in doing these videos. We started doing these back around the start of 2025, and I think we've done them for 14 months. We've hardly missed a day. We've gone right on through Saturdays and Sundays and holidays, and it's been a lot of fun to do these. And we will be back at at some time and with a different format perhaps or something. But we've really enjoyed the interaction we've had with all the people that have sent us videos and pictures and whatnot. Michelle works second shift. It looks like Alex is going to be taking a job where he'll be working second shift. And I've been spending, in fact, all three of us have been spending hours on this in each evening. And it's just time for a little bit of a break for us right now. I want to thank all of you for staying with us. It's been quite a career for me. I've spent 51 and a half years in Grand Rapids talking about the weather. And I started doing this when I was in kindergarten. It was something I was just born to do and something that I'll never stop doing until I'm knocking on the pearly gates. But I want to thank especially Michelle and Alex for their work here over these past 14 months. And I want to, excuse me, I want to thank all the viewers who have tagged along with us here over these months. And thanks so much. I've learned a lot from you as you have hopefully learned a little bit about the weather here from me. So once again, thank you so much. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody.